Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Live a little bit earlier than what I usually do, and for very good reason. Got some things going on later on today, so I figured I would just, I was gonna record a video, but I figured I would just do this live, one and done, knock it right out the park. Um, so before we get into today's subject, let me get through the formalities. Brian Lau, what's up, man? Welcome in. Glad to have you here. For those that are catching my live stream and it's first time to my channel, appreciate you for being here. Smash the like button because it really does help out. If you guys would like to try out Helium Mobile, QR code right there below my avatar. And you can scan the QR code, sign up with Helium Mobile, use my promo code, and try it out. Get your first month free. Or link into the description if the QR code doesn't work. Also, if you'd like to grab a t-shirt, hey, why not, right? Help out the channel. Nerd Limited Apparel. You got the Team Nexus Pixel t-shirt right there below for you guys. You guys want to grab one? T-shirts, hoodies, and long sleeves. So pick your poison and copy one. I would truly appreciate it. All right, so let's get into it. All right, it's been almost 24 hours since the Made by Google event, and so I just kind of want to give you my thoughts as well as just kind of go over, the whole Pixel 9, Pixel Watch 3, Pixel Buds, the whole setup for that, and just kind of talk about that in today's quick live. So it's gonna be a quick live, it's not gonna be too long. I always say that, and it ends up going an hour, but really, I gotta. The most I can do is 40 minutes. But it's making its rounds, okay? So Bender is catching waves, and it's so funny because everyone references the way that the Pixel 9s look with the camera island on the back. That reminds people of Bender from Futurama, but. You guys know me. Hardware only accounts for 20% of judgment in my mind, and majority of it, like 80%, is like software. So obviously, I can't tell anybody how well these phones perform because I have to have it in hand in order to tell you guys that. But nonetheless, we have some reserved thoughts. All right, I've been seeing it from all sides of the spectrum when it comes to the Pixel 9 series. People are upset with the new prices. People are saying, okay, it's understandable for the new prices and what you're getting. And really, at the end of the day, when you're picking a smartphone, it really comes down to what resonates with you for the amount that they're asking for to take out of your wallet. All right. So, I would say to people who have been long time Pixel fans that, right now feel like that the Pixels are way too much in price. There's other options out there. And that's the beauty of Android, is that there's other options out there and you're going to get a very similar experience, minus the whole AI stuff, because that's what was presented at Made by Google this year, right? They spent a good chunk of it. I think I'm going to say like about half an hour on AI, the new features with AI, those types of things. So, it's just one of those things where it's just like there's so many options out there. You don't have to feel like you're bound to just having to have to spend your money on that if you don't want to spend your money on that, to be honest. So anyhow, now, so besides the Pixel 9, we got the Pixel Watch 3, and Google has listened to all of us when it comes to the Pixel Watch 3. So now we got two sizes. We got a 41 millimeter, we got a 45 millimeter. And so those who are like, the Pixel Watch is too tiny for them, go with the bigger size. And, the visual aesthetics of it on your body should match out just right. If you're a person that's got small wrists and small body frame, then you can go with the 41 millimeter. And it will still look big on your wrists and you'll be fine. So with all of this, even the things that technically most tech heads or techies don't think about is that, aside from Android and the AI features, just looking at the hardware aesthetically, you can see that it is catering and trying to appease, to men and women, right? You got options there. Even with the watch, you got options, right? So let's get into the phones, and we'll take a look at them. All right, so here's the lineup that are phones engineered by Google, right? Going from, the Pixel 7a all the way up to the Pixel 9, 9 Pro Fold, 9 Pro, and Pro XL, right? So one thing that we've always said is that we wish that the Pro Series Pixels had was in a smaller size, because not everybody's got giant hands and wants to use, such a big phone. So this year, Google pretty much listened, and it came in the form of a 9 and a 9 Pro and a 9 Pro XL, right? You get the Pro XL model, you get the usual big size, all that good stuff. You're golden. You're good on that. You get, the 9 Pro, which would be the newer size. You get the similar size to the base model Pixel 9, but with the Pro features. The additional camera, the additional, random access memory, right? So you get everything that the Pro XL, the larger device has. You get all that in a smaller form factor for those people that just want a smaller device. So I said that there was a lot of things that Google listened to from what we've been saying over the past couple of years. We can really kind of just see that. So let me start off with the base model Pixel 9, because I feel like that a lot of people that just want to upgrade to the newer Pixel 9, that don't want to spend too much money, are going to gravitate towards the Pixel 9, right? Launching price $799, and I'm going to just stick to the $799 pricing. I know that there's trade-in deals at Best Buy and other places, but we're not really focused on that because that's not its real price at this time. So $799 for the device, and it comes in 4 colors. You have peony, which obviously, Google Pixel on social media, specifically for me, it was on Threads that I saw this question asked. They were asking people if it should be called rose quartz or peony. So pretty much when they asked that question, it already gave it away to me what colors there were going to be. I just didn't know which variants was going to have what color. Well, the regular Pixel 9 has the peony color. It's pink. So you can see just aesthetically how the coloring and everything is going to look. And pink is not for me. I think I would chalk it up as close to what the Pixel 6 was. It's probably about the closest to a pink phone that I would rock, which was the kind of coral 2-tone colorway. This is single. Now, honestly, what you can do with this, if you're a person that is okay with the peony color, just what I would say, if possible, is to skin the side rails like a matte black color, and then the camera island to be like a matte black color. Just if you want to get into designs, but I digress from that. But yeah, you get peony. This color is the one I really like. Winter green. I like that. It would definitely match out with my Pixel 8a. Green color just kind of resonates with me. But if I went into a place to buy a Pixel 9 and they didn't have the winter green, I would go ahead and see if they had porcelain, because it's been a while since I've had, white colored device. iPhone and Samsung pricing, very risky move. Yeah, I would agree with you, Scott. It's a very risky move. At the same time, though, they have to make this move. They have to make this move to be considered in the ring, right? You can't put someone that weighs $150 in the ring with contenders that weigh 205 pounds. So at some point they would have to get to this level. I know it's not popular for a lot of people because people are creatures of habit. You kind of get used to $599 pricing and giving us a lot for a lot less. And in this day and age with the Pixel 9s, this is another chapter page turn for Google. I know a lot of the things were mentioned at Google I/O was AI. There was a lot of things that they did not mention about the Pixel 9s that I'm gonna try to get to here in the next half hour. But, anyways, um, and between the wintergreen, I would also go with Obsidian. I think the Obsidian looks really, really, really nice in my opinion. It's elegant in just the way that I'm looking at it and how I'm going to describe it. It's elegant, classy, but not a in your face type of thing. So um, I don't know. This kind of looks like it would be a matte color. Tell me what your guys' thoughts are. Do you guys think the Obsidian color is a matte finish on the back? Because it looks like it to me, just from these images here. While every other image, maybe the porcelain is also matte, but the wintergreen and the peony would be glossy. I don't know. But I know these are not the actual representations of the device. A lot of people are saying that they're glossy, whatever. Okay, so we have that dropping into the tech specs here. Well, actually, you know what? I looked at that yesterday. Let's go here. Okay, so here are some of the things that you guys should know about the Pixel 9. Okay, so dimensions of it basically 152.8 by 72 by 8.5 millimeters. Weighs about 198 grams. We got Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front and on the back. So I got some durable glass there, but still don't drop your phone. And an aluminum frame. So as far as for the SIM, it takes 1 nano SIM and it has eSIM. It is IP68 water and dust resistant. The display panel is an OLED display with 120 Hz refresh, HDR10 plus. It's got 1800 nits with HBM, 2700 nits peak. So it gets brighter than the Pixel 8a. 6.3 inch display with 86.1% screen to body ratio, resolution at 1080 by 2424 pixels at a 20 by 9 aspect ratio, 422 pixels per inch density. And yes, the killer in the box here is that it's launching with Android 14, and that's more than likely because Android 15 is not ready yet. And I believe Google has learned its lesson from previous iterations of Pixels where they've launched it with half-baked software, Android 12. Yeah, so I guess they would rather just throw Android 14 in there, let everybody have a basically variant upon for phone, than to throw in Android 15 half-baked and have a cluster fudge of all kinds of problems. So but it will get Android 15. It is promised 7 years of OS updates. So that is, in fact, continuing on as a trend with Google. What up, Sneed? Right, so we have the Tensor G4. It's basically their latest processor. And the last processor to be basically engineered and built with Samsung's Exynos, right? It's a 4 nanometer chip. You got one 3.1 gigahertz Cortex X4, three 2.6 gigahertz Cortex A720, four 1.92 gigahertz Cortex A520. The GPU is back with the Mali G715 MC7 for the graphics. Yeah, so we're still starting at 128 gigabytes of internal storage, 12 gigabytes of RAM. I know that's not very popular too amongst a lot of people out there. We've seen over the time with Android smartphones that we've kind of like progressed, like every couple of years, the storage capacity base amount would get bigger, right? So we used to have like 8 gigabytes of internal storage, 16, 32, 64. We've been at 128 for quite a bit of time, right? So 128 has been anchored down a little bit more. I do agree with some people. I think it's time for us to kind of just step it up because apps are requiring a lot more space in order to house information, right? Whether it's just your basic productivity apps, whether it's social media, or it's gaming, especially gaming. Gaming, obviously, you're going to need quite a bit of space with like all the types of games that they have today. So I do agree with those out there that 256 should actually have been like the starting base already. And, the Pixel 8a could have been the last one to pretty much house a device with 128 gigabytes of internal storage. But you know what? If you're needing more storage, you're going to go with the Pro model. And I think that's what this year is all about, is really pushing people towards the Pro model. They've given just about every reason to opt the Pro model because obviously it's the same size as the base model, just about. So it's a smaller form factor. You do get the additional camera sensor in the 9 Pro. You get more storage capacities, and a lot of the Gemini Advance is tailored to the Pro models over the base model Pixel 9. So when you look at the Pixel 9 now, it is exactly what it's always meant to be, which is an entry level kind of. The A series has always been for more affordability, and then the Pro models pretty much gives you like the whole shebang for your buck. That's how I would just kind of describe this. So with the cameras itself, it's a 50 megapixel shooter with an f1.7 aperture rating on a 25 millimeter lens. That's the wide angle, so not the ultra wide. You do get a single zone laser autofocus and optical image stabilization. And the cool thing about it is that Google's still kind of going with its old trend, right? So you got to remember, from like the Pixel, the OG Pixel, all the way up till the Pixel 5a. Well, let's say the 6a, because the 6a uses the same camera as the 5a and previous Pixels, but they went with a Sony sensor back then, right? And they continued to use that same camera sensor. And all they really did was just kind of beef up the computational photography by having, obviously coupled with AI to correct imperfections in photos and to just kind of bring it out to life. So you had a lot of image processing done that worked around it, right? And it was calibrated. Okay, this is the thing that me and Carlos talked about a couple of years ago with the Pixel 6, and that he made mention the calibration of the camera was off and everything. What he was talking about, obviously, was the image processing done by Google, coupled with the camera sensor. Because when they switched over to this camera sensor, which the Pixel 6, 7, 8, and now the 9 use, the camera sensor is from Samsung. It's the Samsung GN01. It's a 50 megapixel camera sensor. And they've had, since the Pixel 7, because the Pixel 6 photos were a little bit weird when you took photos with the Pixel 6. It was just like, it almost seemed watercolor-esque type coloring. This is something that if you guys want some sort of visual, check out Latrell's video coverage on the Pixel 6 when he went out and about and took pictures with his Pixel 6 Pro. There were just some things that just looked weird about the photos back then. And so it took Google a little bit of time, but I can say that with my Pixel 7 that you guys gifted me, photos that I took were amazing on it. And it's the same camera sensor. And that trend continues on. I have to say, with the Pixel 8, I went to Best Buy, played around with one, took photos. It got better, right? So the thing with Google is like they don't really replace their camera hardware like every year. They replace it every couple of years. What they intentionally do is just have their software work around image processing. So just keep that in mind. So obviously, that optimization for process imaging from these camera sensors is going to be better than last year because, they've had a little bit of time to work more hand in hand with it. And, we got some pretty cool things coming with AI and the features with cameras, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But, yeah, we got that 50 megapixel shooter still. We got a 48 megapixel ultra wide. It's got a 123 degree field of view, so about 3 degrees more than my Pixel 8a. So that's pretty nice. And for video recording, just with the Pixel 9, you got 4K recording at 24, 30, and 60 frames per second, and then in 1080p at 24, 30, 60, 120, and 240 frames per second with a gyro EIS or electronic image stabilization and optical image stabilization with 10-bit HDR. So yeah, these videos should be a little crispy. Google getting better and better every year towards video. I don't know about what their claim is to kind of say that they're on par with iPhones. That I'm not going to judge right now because one, I have an iPhone 12, so I don't think that would count as a comparison to the Pixel 9. I would think the Pixel 9's camera with video recording would be better than the iPhone 12. So really, it's all about taking, and this is how a fair comparison can be done. You got to get an iPhone 16, you got to get a Pixel 9, and you got to go record video, and then you'll have your answer. I wouldn't go with the Pixel 9 versus the iPhone 15 unless you're trying to make a statement that last year's Apple flagship is still better than today's current flagship from Google. But the real comparison comes down between those two, and the iPhone 16 is the next to be announced here in a month or so. As far as the selfie cam, it is a 10.5 megapixel shooter. It's an f2.2 aperture rating, so that's how much light it lets in for the shot. It's a 20 millimeter lens, and it's an ultra wide, but it doesn't tell you the amount of like the field of view of how much you get out of it. But yeah, you got auto HDR and panorama, and that was one of the things that they talked about at the Made by Google event, is the new way of taking panorama shots with the Pixel 9, and how you're able to just really fudge a lot of your photos, and a little bit of a concern to that, which I'll do in a future video to talk about what I think about all these things you can do with the camera with the new Google Pixel 9s, and the good, the bad, and the ugly on them. So stay tuned. I got some Pixel 9 coverage coming, even though I don't have the phone in hand. I got thoughts on some of the features that it has. Of course, no headphone jack, and they're not going back to that whole thing. So with Wi-Fi, it looks like it's Wi-Fi 7. You got tri-band global, and you got dual band in India for Wi-Fi. Bluetooth 5.3, NFC. It does have USB Type C 3.2. They switched up the optical fingerprint sensor for an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. So again, listening to the people out there and bringing a faster biometric, well, a faster but more accurate fingerprint biometric security. The Pixel 9 has satellite, so basically, if you're out in the wilderness, you got a fighting chance if a bear is chasing you. You get that satellite SOS service, and so don't expect to be able to watch YouTube connected to a satellite. But if you need an emergency phone call, if you need to send an emergency text, that's what it is for now. That technology, as far as smartphones connected to satellite, that obviously may come in the future. But as of right now, it's just emergency calls, emergency texts, and nothing more than that. All right, so it says here, lithium-ion 4,700 milliamp hour battery, 27 watt wired charging, 15 watt wireless charging, and 12 watt wireless charging with Qi compatible charger and reverse wireless. So you can reverse wirelessly charge from the Pixel 9. $799 in the United States, and you can convert that to other prices out there, like in euros or in pounds, or but that's the Pixel 9. That's the Pixel 9 in a nutshell. Now, so here's the thing about the Pixel 9. You got that 6.3 actual display, so the display getting better also as well, and I guess you could say getting a more robust display that's not going to kill your battery off. I think that's one of the things that we really want, in a trade-off of things. Smooth display, 60 to 120 hertz refresh, and I already know how the smooth display works. It kicks on in times that it thinks that the refresh rate is warranted, right? So it's not going to kick on 120 hertz refresh rate if you're just looking at a photo. But if you are watching like a movie in high definition, if you are playing a game, like a mobile game, the refresh rate will kick on for those types of things. So there is a way to force it. You would have to open up developer options and force peak refresh rate, and then it will always run at 120 hertz. If you want to know how to enable developer options, you go into the settings app, go down to about device, scroll down to build number, tap it 5 times until you see you're now a developer. Back out. In the main settings menu, go to system, scroll down, and you should see developer options that's open. Select that. Scroll through all the options that developer options have. You'll find a forced refresh rate. Turn it on, and it'll be at 120 hertz refresh. Claims 24-hour battery life, up to 100 hours battery life with extreme battery saver. Fast charging up to 55% in 30 minutes, so that's kind of helpful. Use Google 45-watt USB-C charger, sold separately. Obviously, they're going to sell it separately. You got the Titan M2 security co-processor, so that tags along with a Tensor G4. You got all these other things with the security, right? The Google VPN, the end-to-end security designed by Google, anti-malware, anti-phishing protection, spam protection in Google Phone and Messages. So, things like spam block on your messages and call screening. Those are the type of things I'm talking about when it comes to the security protection. There's not really a little bit too much more with the cameras. Other than you have these features, right? Super red zoom up to 8 times, and they did demo the zoom, and it was pretty cool. I think this one has a lot of people just kind of baffled right here. So the add me, right, where you can take a picture of a group of friends. Just make sure they leave a little space to either the left or the right, because when you snap that photo with the add me feature, it snaps the photo of them, but it holds it as a placeholder in place in your viewfinder on your Pixel 9. So that way you can have someone come stand where you're standing to hold your phone, and then you go and you walk into that spot. They can see in the viewfinder where exactly you should stand, so they can tell you closer, further, and you can make sure you got a really, really good clean shot of it, because if you slightly tweak it to where it looks unnatural, the box will have like a red border to let you know, like, hey, you're kind of out of frame. So it'll help you compose your frame, so that way you take a very realistic group photo that includes you in it, even though you weren't standing when you took the group photos. So that's pretty cool. We get macro focus, night sight, astrophotography for geeks like me. Portrait mode, face unblur, so that's always nice to never have a blurry face shot. Long exposure to get those really cool shots, especially like this is like a photographer's favorite tool. Long exposure when you live in a huge metropolitan city. Action pan for when you're trying to get those really fast moments. If your kid's like into sports and you want to get that shot where they're kicking the winning goal, you can get it to where there's a lot of action motion in the background of your shot, but your foreground of your shot is focused on your subject, and they are clear as day. So action pan does really good. Real tone for people that don't want to look like, for me, I hate taking photos where it makes me look like I'm like red like a tomato when I know I'm tan. So real tone cleans that up and just makes you look natural, like your skin tone's natural. You got panorama shot, top shot, and frequent faces. So it also learns faces that you normally take pictures of, and it kind of just, already knows how to clean that up to get, again, like a face unblur to unblur your face. Obviously, it's going to memorize face models. You got editing features with the Pixel 9, so Magic Editor, Magic Eraser, Best Take, Photo Unblur, and Portrait Light, right? So you can really fudge a lot of photos. Like I said, stay tuned for my video later on this week where I talk more and focused about photos with the new Pixel 9s. All right, you got all these video recording, digital video zoom up to 7 times, and they were showing like how clear that zoom can be when recording video. For video features, you got Magic Eraser, macro focus video, 10-bit HDR video, cinematic blur, cinematic pan, slow-mo video support up to 240 frames per second, 4K time lapse with stabilization, astrophotography with time lapse, night sight time lapse, optical image stabilization for video, fused video stabilization, cinematic pan video stabilization in 4K and 1080p, locked video stabilization in 4K and 1080p, active video stabilization in 1080p, and it shoots in video formats in HEVC, which is 8.265, or AVC, which is H.264. Now, those formats are able to save space in your Google Photos, especially if you have limited amount of space. You can always turn off in the Gcam app. You can turn off for it using that format to get a higher video quality. And what the weird thing is, if you guys don't know, if you open your camera app on your Google Pixel phone, even if it's the 8A or the 7A or the 7, you look in the camera app in the settings for video, you'll see that the HEVC is automatically defaulted turned on. So some people are like, I recorded video with my Pixel 8 and it sucks. Maybe you should go check on that, turn that off, and then record a video and then compare the two. Just saying. Right. For audio, you got stereo recording, speech enhancement, wind, noise reduction, and audio zoom. Right. So it's got focal audio to focus on subjects. I don't know if the focused audio works when you're recording in 4K. At least for my Pixels, like the Pixel 8a, only works in 1080p. So if you have 4K turned on, it can't focal the audio. But if you if you don't have it turned on, it can't. If you have 4K turned on, it can't do it. If you are on 1080p, it's able to focus your voice and drown out the background slightly, right? If you really want to get like a good video where all the background noise is eliminated from your video, I would suggest downloading the YouTube Create app. You don't have to be a YouTuber to use it. You can use it to make videos for Facebook, for Instagram, or whatever social platform you want to upload to. And the audio cleanup tool, which is free in the YouTube Create app, it is so damn good. It eliminates a lot of background noise when I record video. So, but yeah. So that's the Pixel 9. With the 9 Pro, obviously you get that additional, you get the additional camera sensor. What you also get is the additional amount of storage options. So let's go with the Pro model real quick. Why did it do that? My browser's been acting up weird every time that I've been choosing something, and then it just kind of goes back to like the whole default screen. So I'm gonna run a diagnostic on my computer later on. That's why I'm not doing anything else later today, and I'm just doing this very early in the morning. At least for me, it's probably not early where you guys are. Some of you guys are, but it is for me. All right, so with the Pro models, hey. You get these colors: porcelain, rose quartz, hazel, and obsidian. All right. So for the Pro model, 6.3 inch, 6.8 inch on the XL version. A little bit of a difference, obviously, because of the size, right? So both are at a 20:9 aspect ratio display, 1280 by 2856, LTPO OLED at 495 pixels per inch. And then on the XL model, it's 1344 by 2992 LTPO OLED at 486 pixels per inch. But both have smooth display, according to Gorilla Glass Victus, 2000 nits, of brightness and HDR, up to 3000 nits peak brightness. So when you're in the sun, that's plenty brightness for you to see your screen in the sunlight. Where it is, there it is. Storage capacity. So here you go, 16 gigabytes of RAM. So 4 additional gigs of RAM compared to the base model 9. But you get 128, 256, 512, and 1 terabyte. So you can see they're really trying to push people over to the Pixel 9 Pro and the Pixel 9 Pro XL. They really want everyone to gravitate towards those devices. Everything else is pretty much just like, similar. The only difference really is the telecamera, or telephoto, if you want to be more specific, right? 48 megapixel, f2.8 aperture rating, 22 degree field of view, 5 times optical zoom, super red zoom up to 30 times. And yes, got all that cool stuff, optical plus electronic image stabilization. So you have all that cool stuff. And then the selfie cam is also changed on these, which they boast a 42 megapixel front selfie shooter. So you'll get higher res selfie shots with the Pro models. And rightfully so, because it's a Pro model for a reason. Other than that, you get just about everything else that the Gemini Advanced and the AI smart features. You get them in here with a couple of other ones too. I don't remember seeing active video stabilization. It might have in a Pixel 9, but yeah. There you go. And it will also launch with Android 14. It is what it is, right? I would rather have them launch it with Android 14 and have a smooth experience out of the box than for them to put a half-baked software into a brand new hardware and just totally destroy it based upon user experience. I mean, Pixel 6, y'all remember that. Android 12, half-baked into the Pixel 6, was very, very bad. And yes, it does get the satellite SOS and all that other good stuff. So really, when it comes down to it, when people are like, well, they raised the price on it, I mean, that's to be expected. Well, when you're getting all these new features packed into this device, yeah, and a lot of us, even myself, when I watched the event yesterday, I'm like, oh yeah, all this stuff is going to trickle down. But I started, like I said, I had time to think about it, and I'm like, well, what if these things don't trickle down? What if there's hardware limitations from previous Pixels, from the 8 series and earlier, that would prevent some of these key features that make the Pixel interesting not available for older Pixels? I mean, we have the assumption, and we kind of got to get out of that mind frame where it's like, when they do something a certain way, it's always going to be that way, because then we set ourselves up for disappointment when they decide to change and do things differently. I think we always should keep an open mind on the things that these companies are doing and changing to. And then we won't have expectations to feel like we've been, why did it go there? Oh my God. Chrome is just acting weird today. Can we get the right product? There we go. I think I'm going to grab me this watch band right here, this active green one for my Pixel Watch to kind of go with my Pixel 8a. But anyways, we'll go with the smartwatches. And there you have it. Well, one thing that I find kind of sad is that the OG Pixel Watch is not on here. I know it's a couple years old, and I'm just like, okay, I get it, but there's still people that would want it. I mean, you're looking at the Google Pixel Watch 2, right? If you wanted the Pixel Watch 2 and you were waiting to upgrade, you can do it now. It's $249.99 for it, and that would be the Bluetooth model, I believe. It'd be $299 for the LTE model, I think. So that would make the OG Pixel Watch like $149.99. Anyways, Pixel Watch 3 launching at $349.99 for the Bluetooth model. That's for the 41 millimeter size. All right, get up to $350 back with eligible smartwatch trade-in. I want to see what the trade-in is real quick. Oh yeah, it's in good condition. Oh, look at that. If you have an OG Pixel Watch in good condition, the trade-in value is up to $140. So you can end up getting the Pixel Watch 3 for $209. I know that's not like fantastic, but it's still something, right? At least I was thinking, because it was an OG Pixel Watch, they were going to pull some stuff and be like, oh yeah, we'll give you $80. How they give you $140? So not bad. Not the best, but not bad. But if you get a Pixel Watch 3, you get 6 months of Fitbit Premium. Get 2 years of data for your smartwatch on us when you buy any Pixel Watch 3 LTE model. So you would get, so this is like a good collaborative for them to get more and more people onto Google Fi. Because now when you read the description on it, data is from Google Fi Wireless to power your messaging, navigation, and music and all that stuff. The little things that they're saying there. The interesting thing about it is that they're using this as a marketing tool, because let's say you do get the Pixel Watch 3 LTE, right? So they're going to give you 2 years of Google Fi service on that LTE model. So you'll have Google Fi service. You'll have a Google Fi account with active phone service just for your smartwatch. And then your Pixel will have whatever carrier you want. But you got to know this. You're going to get some spam messages from Google Fi. They're going to tempt you with reasons to switch your carrier to go over to Google Fi. And let me just say this: as somebody that was a big backer of Google Fi, the times have changed. You have a lot of MVNO carriers out there that are offering very low rates for something that their $50 plan is offering, right? So let's take the Simply Unlimited, $50 a month. You get, I think it's 35 gigs of high-speed data before you're slowed down, unlimited talk and text, and you get the Google Fi bells and whistles, right? $50 a month, and you can get the same thing for $25. So honestly, if Google Fi wanted to become competitive, they're gonna have to cut their prices on their Simply Unlimited. They're and they should start doing taxes and fees included. Really, because I mean, regardless of how I feel about that, I believe that a lot of people are just really stuck on that taxes and fees must be included in the pricing, and that's just the way of it, no matter how you slice it. It's just like unlock devices. I may have my personal thoughts on unlocking a device, but you know what? When the FCC grants it, they grant it, and it goes forward for there. And those that really have good reasonings to be able to have the device system unlocked, even if they're in a financial obligation, obviously, you know what? It wins for them. And if it wins for them, I'm happy for them. But, I have my own personal thoughts on it, and it doesn't correlate with that, but I digress. Yeah. So anyways, so you can go with the Bluetooth model, $349.99. You go with the LTE model. Obviously, it's going to be $399. If you go with the XL size, right? So you got two sizes now with the Pixel Watch. You got the 341 millimeter. You got the 45 millimeter, which is the XL model. But the cool thing about it is like, say you don't want that big of a watch, because the OG Pixel Watch had really big bezels on it, right? We know this. Well, they increased the size of the 41 millimeter display. So the base Pixel Watch 3 has 10% more screen, which leads me to believe that the bezels have shrunk from being over here, which it was on the OG Pixel Watch, to now being out here to where the edge is at. It gives you 10% more screen. So you still, on the sides, you still have that bezel protection, although I'm still going to tell people to be smart and slap a watch case on it. There's tons of them on Amazon and other places to protect it, because I do feel like no matter what, these rounded corners, you will bang them on something and they will crack. So yeah, but you get more screen real estate on the 41 millimeters. If you opt for the small one to save some money, then at least you'll still get a bigger display on it. Now, if you want a larger body Pixel Watch, you got the 45 millimeter. So you get 40% more screen than the Pixel Watch 2. So they're comparing it to the Pixel Watch 2 screen real estate. So you get a larger size. I know some people have. I don't know if I say it on YouTube. No, I'd say it anyways. But when it comes to smartwatches, there are those people that are heavily focused on the dick measuring contest. They feel like the bigger the better. So, yeah. Anyways, but you got options. Google listened to us. That's great. So it continues to talk about the larger display. But the cool part is that you got twice the brightness, so up to 2,000 nits of peak brightness on the Pixel Watch 3. That is absolutely great, because I can't tell you guys in times where I use my Google Pixel Watch, and with the sunlight out there, sometimes it's hard to see the watch face, to read notifications. And so this is why that, out of all the things that was released on Google yesterday, the Pixel Watch is the most focused one that I'm focusing on, because I believe firmly it's time for me to upgrade my smartwatch. It's got a lot of cool beneficial health things that come to it, like, the loss of pulse, which I think would be amazing. For me, having health issues and things like that, it would be a great peace of mind for my family, like my wife, if she's out with her friends, or say she goes out with the kids and I don't actually go with them and I'm home alone. At least she has a peace of mind that if my heart stops beating, my watch will call 911 for me, since no one's home to call 911 for me. And, Besides that, which they're not really going to go into at keynotes, but with those types of things, you can also set up an emergency contact, which gets like a message notifying them that somebody on their their Google Circle is hurt or anything like that. So like if I had a loss of pulse and my watch dialed 911 emergency and gave my location to where I'm at so they can find me, because my wife on my Google Health is my emergency contact, it would buzz her to let her know something's wrong with me. So then she would know that whatever they're doing, drop what they're doing and try to find out what's going on, either get home and find emergency first responders here, or to call my phone and hope that emergency first responders pick up my phone and answer to verify who I am and talk to her and let her know what's going on and where they're taking me. So cool stuff right there. Plus, you got all the other additional stuff with Fitbit Premium. I don't need Fitbit to tell me that I'm tired. I remember this solely because Sneed was, he busted we were kind of busting jokes while watching the event, just having a little bit of fun. But yeah, they did mention that, the watch can tell you if you're getting tired through your workouts, right? Or, through your activities. And I just, it's there. And some people need to be told they're getting tired because they don't know their own body's responses to things. And I guess it does help out somebody, right? So I can't really judge, even if I think that, it's silly. Why does it need to be able to tell me that, that I'm getting tired or anything like that? Well, other people out there have different reasons, right? And it's not one size fits all in this world. We're all humans, yes. So that's something that we all have in common. But, I celebrate individualism. And we are all individual in our own way, so can't really judge on that. But you got some pretty cool things coming, along with that. Like I said, I want to look at the watch band. The Pixel Buds Pro 2, there's not really much I can say on that. Obviously you guys know it is a wireless audio device. The only thing that I want to emphasize with the Pixel Buds Pro 2 is that it has a new chip inside of it. It is actually using a Tensor A1 chip. So Google has, with I guess Exynos, has developed a processor chip specifically for the Pixel Buds Pro 2, so that way it is able to engage in a lot of the new AI features and functionalities that Gemini is offering. Wow, man, $50 for a watch band. I don't know about that. I really like that color. I like that it comes in multiple colors. I got this one sent to me from Google. Google sent me this watch band, and it was pretty cool because they sent me the watch band. For some reason, the package got missing, so they sent another one. And then, like 4 days later, the first one they sent me arrived, and the one that they sent me afterwards arrived also. And they were like, "Oh, you got two watch bands. Consider yourself lucky. Keep both of them." I was like, "Thank you." But I like these watch bands. They're breathable. I really want this color for my birthday. That's a nice color right there. $50. So I'll probably get that like later on, maybe like next month, September. Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna say it. My birthday's in 4 days. So if you guys want to show a little something, that QR code up there. If you guys want to send me anything, you guys can scan that QR code and send me something for my birthday. Or, a win-win situation. If you don't have Helium Mobile and you want to try it out, then you guys can do me a solid for my birthday and try them out. And you can get your first month free. Just use my promo code. What up, B-Tech? Use my promo code. I'll get you your first month free to try them out. And also, if you want to rep that you are a big fan of the Team Nexus days and the Pixels, you guys can rock one of my shirts, hoodies, or long sleeves with that design. Team Nexus Pixel t-shirt. All right, cop one today. Use that QR code there. Get to my store. Anyways, back to the chat. Yeah, so you have all these different other watch bands too that they sell. But yeah, the Pixel Watch Active Sport Band in the mint green color. That's probably the next thing that I would grab. But until decide to go for the Pixel Watch 3, I'll probably go for the Pixel Watch 3 towards the end of the year a little bit. Because I can still manage with my current Pixel Watch. It's not like it's so detrimental that I can't do anything. I'm not a predator. I'm not expecting my watch to self-destruct because I lost a battle. I don't think of it in that way. So Google Pixel Watch 3, maybe by the end of this year I'll have one. and it'll be pretty awesome. I really want to get my wife on a Google Pixel Watch also, and away from a regular Fitbit. So that's kind of the reason why too. Like I want to wait on getting the Pixel Watch 3 because I want to order two of them. Um, we both don't need the LTE models. Maybe for her, I'll ask her about it eventually. See if she wants the LTE model. She does have Visible, so I believe if Visible starts to support Pixel watches, she can update to that. But from digressing from that, basically, um, yeah, I just want her on a Pixel watch because I think it's a far better experience than Fitbit, in my opinion. You know what? I'm just for shits and giggles. I'm just going to cover the buds real fast before I go. Um, okay, here we go. I'm not too sure about this. I don't know if it's just like some sort of consensus that had people say, okay, like the Pixel Buds Pro, like the original Pros, not the earlier models, but the last generation before this. If they were saying that the Pixel Buds were too loose and sliding out or something like that, because they brought this nub back. I don't like those nubs because it causes ear fatigue really quickly, and it just makes it annoying to have it in my ear. But anyways, right. So $229 for the Pixel Buds Pro 2. Price increase because of new features that's usable with these buds. They come in porcelain. They come in hazel, they come in wintergreen, and they come in peony, which, if I decide to upgrade my wife for some wireless earbuds, I'll grab her these. I think these would be cool for her. For me, you guys already know. I'm going with a wintergreen. But here it goes, right? So you got cancels twice as much noise for noise cancellation in the background. New Google Tensor A1 chip for powerful performance. And you can talk to Gemini for a hands-free help. Up to 30 hours with active noise canceling on. So 30 hours of listening, I guess, with active noise cancellation. I really would love for them to give a breakdown on that to let us know if it's 30 hours on a single charge or is it 30 hours including multiple charges with the case. That's what I want to know. But they're keeping that very vague. I'm not going to watch the video on it. The first Tensor chip in an earbud. Yes, you know that. To kind of give a little breakdown of all these things. I'm trying to see if it goes to the battery. So that's funny. They're like, which Pixel Buds are right for you? A $229 Pixel Buds Pro 2 with all the bells and whistles, or the Pixel Buds A series for $99. So this has got to tell a lot of people the Pixel Buds A has to be very solid if it's still being sold and marketed today, right? They're not going to market something that is just not, very great. So but they do compare it. Twist to adjust stabilizer, you have that there. It says no here. That's a lie because when you have these in your ears, you can twist. You have to twist to adjust it to get it to a comfortable position where it's not totally pushing against the inside of your canal and the base of like your ear. So yeah, I like how they put that in. Okay, so now we got a more breakdown, right? So you get 8 hours of listening time with active noise cancellation on the buds, up to 30 hours with the charging case. So obviously 30 hours is with repetitive charging on the Pixel Buds Pro 2. So there we go. We did get a breakdown. Thank you, Google, for doing that and not keeping it very, both of them can talk to Gemini for hands-free help. So they both have that capability. AI-powered clear calling. And you got AI-powered clear calling on the Pixel Buds A with its latest software update. Bluetooth super wideband is what the Pixel Buds Pro 2 has. That obviously the Pixel A's don't. But see, here's the thing. They go with comparing it to the Pixel Buds A. I would really love for them to just really compare it to the last Pro model. But I digress from that. Look, in closing for this live stream, things went up in price. That's clear as day. But that's going to happen. Not as of yet, Rando Geek. I don't plan on getting a Pixel 9 because with all these price hikes and everything like that, I have a feeling that the A series is not done. So I'm going to be holding out to see if rumors start falling about the Pixel 9a. If the 9a is going to come next year, I'm going to end up going for that. I like the A series more than I like the flagships, to be honest with everybody. But yes, that was the point that I was going to be getting to, was, with all these price hikes, right? The Pixel 9 being $799 gives a clear path, a reason why Google should continue the A series with the follow-up Pixel 9a. If you market the Pixel 9a for $499, like you did with the Pixel 8a, then you have a good gap. And there's a demographic for the A series. There are lots of people that like the A series. There's people I see on social media that just absolutely love having a Pixel A series device, because the A series is that damn good. It really brings a very similar experience to the flagships. The only difference that you're going to realize is maybe certain AI features is not going to trickle down to the A series, and that the phone's not made of Gorilla Glass Victus 2 or Victus 1 or any of that. It's not glass. It's it's plastic with some aluminum added in for the body structure to give it a good strong structure to it. But yeah, that's really what you're sacrificing. But everything else, the Android experience, majority of the basic Gemini stuff is all there on the A series. Cameras, pretty awesome, and of course they use a Sony camera sensor rather than a Samsung. So I mean, there's hardly a difference in performance. Were you able to compare both of them side by side? Like you had the Pixel, like you were able to get a hold of the Pixel 9 and compare it to the 8, or is it just from like the spec sheets? Just curious to know. Because I'm like, I mean, you're claiming that there's hardly a difference in performance. Really, I want to know where that comes from. I'm interested because I want to know. And I'll be straight with everybody. And when it comes to benchmarks, I don't put 100% stock in benchmarks. I'll put more stock into real world usage than benchmarks. But anyway, guys, I've hit my limitations. I got other things I got to take care of. I went far beyond what I was expecting to live stream for, but that's okay because it's for you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are about the Pixel 9s, about the Pixel Watch 3s, about the Pixel Buds Pro 2s. And, there's no bundle this year for any of these products that you buy, other than the fact that they're going to give you, Google One for like what? I think like certain phones you get it for like 6 months, certain phones you get it for a year. And if you want to know all about the whole, Google One, why Google One, go to Google One and you'll see now there's 2 different tiers of plan options on Google One. You have the base plans, which just gives you the cloud storage and the Google One perks benefits. And then there's now a new tier plan that gives you all of that plus the advanced AI. So, and there's different plans. There's a plan, I didn't even know, there's a $49.99 Google One subscription plan. I think it's like 5 terabytes with all the benefits of Google One, plus you get the Gemini advanced features that's entangled into, Gmail, Docs, and all the other, stuff. So, yeah, definitely take a look at those things. But, I appreciate you guys for coming and hanging out with me. Again, copy one of these shirts if you guys like. You want to represent Team Pixel, Team Nexus. This shirt will do it. But also, if you want to try out Helium Mobile for 1 month free, go ahead and use that QR code. And again, the link is in the description for that. But if you guys want to send something out for my birthday, up in the upper left corner, the QR code, you guys can send something if you guys want to. Totally up to you guys. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for future video coverage on all these products.